Hello guys, what is up? It is Zury A.K.A. the Diamond Ore Creeper here, and this is another snapshot review. Now this is a double snapshot review, which is, I think I might try out this format from now on, which is instead of doing one snapshot review once a week, I'm going to start doing snapshot reviews that cover two snapshots every other week, because sometimes they're very small. Maybe if there's a very large one, I will give it its own episode, but lately they've been very small, not really worth necessarily making a whole video out of, and it helps with my schedule because I am pretty busy as it is. So this is the snapshot review from last week. The one from this week is 13W38A, and the one from last week was 13W37A. So, as you can clearly see here, one of the biggest things that they changed in this update is portals. They have changed the maximum size they can be, but they have not changed the minimum size. So to demonstrate this, I have a flint and steel here, and if I light this smaller portal, it does not work. This is the normal size portal, and it has to be a minimum of the same, 2x3 area for the portal to be, with, 3 blocks, 2 blocks, 3 and 2, or 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you prefer. Now, you can make them bigger and even give them odd numbers, which I really like, because odd numbers are nice, and they, give a lot of more opportunity for interior decorating and such. Now, these portals can be absolutely massive, as you can see, and what this actually allows us to do is to easily get ghasts into the overworld, which is a nice new trick. So I'm going to continue on with this snapshot, but it looks like the sun's setting, so why don't I time set 0 it before it's too late. And there are a few new commands for command blocks. Now, this one is just me being teleported, and I'm teleporting to the edge of the world. Now, before, what would happen is when you got to the end of the world, which is this block, if you kept walking off into the distance, which these are all ghost blocks, I can't touch them or anything, before what would happen is when you walked through there, your game would just crash. Your game would completely crash. Now, there's an invisible wall that you cannot pass. See, as you can see the particles underneath my feet, I'm trying to sprint and it's breaking because I cannot get past this invisible wall here. And that works on both sides. I'm at the corner. And a few other things that have happened here. One of them is that lighting does not work past here. So if I time set 18,000, and I show you if I place this here and this here, you can see that it lights inside, but it does not light outside. Also, it looks like the chest is changing shape. Isn't that weird? So if I go back and time set 0, you can see a few more glitches that were in the previous snapshot. Now, one of them is that the torches, any type of torch as you saw over there, but in this case I use redstone, the flame, the particle effect, is moved over by a considerable amount when you get this far out. Another problem is that pistons have incredibly glitchy behavior. I'm gonna do that again. Just absolutely insane. Their hitboxes move all over the place. And, just as you would expect, if I place these here, one on a sticky piston and one on a normal piston, and you press them, as you can see, the blocks get deleted. You're never getting them back, because this is the wall, and you can't interact with things past there. Now, something I have not tested that I actually just thought of while making this is what happens if you put an entity through here, for instance, a shot arrow. What if I do that? It did look like it went through, but it also looked like as soon as it passed there that the arrow sort of disappeared. Oh no, it does. It looks like it continues maybe, but as soon as it hits the block, it disappears. That would make more sense. It also cuts off generations that come after the terrain, which in this case is like trees. It cuts off the generation. And another glitch is that redstone is super glitchy. Sometimes doing this, there we go, I got a redstone. Sometimes placing it down, as you can see here, will give you an invisible redstone. Sometimes placing it down will give you still invisible. Sometimes it'll give you giant redstone like you just saw. That was 4 times the size. Again, giant redstone. Here we go. This is the giant redstone that's 4 times the size. It's absolutely crazy. It doesn't even match up with itself, which is the weirdest part. Like, this is a 4x4 and this is a 4x4, but this one, it comes here, and this one, it's split in between the two, so it doesn't even match. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to grab a lever and see if I can actually get this to light. Let's see. Will that work? Nope, definitely not. Let's see what I can... Oh, because it's past the border. That would be why. There we go, and there you go, and I lit it all up. So, really glitchy redstone. So now, another thing, if I jump back here, and this brings me back to where I was, this command here is a new set block command, and I'm also using it to demonstrate this. Before, what you would have to do is if you wanted to give yourself a block or an item, or set a block or an item, you know, with this new set block command, the way you would have to do it is you would have to memorize the data value of that block. So for this case, it's stone, which I believe is a data value of 1. But now you can do Minecraft colon and then the name of the block. Now it has to be the name of the block in game code, not the way it is in the normal game. For instance, in game code, the wool block is called cloth, and you have to name it that for this. So it's a little bit, you know, it's a little bit confusing. If for things like that, you might want to you might be better off just doing the data value. But for this command in general, this whole set block thing, what happens is that if I stand right here and I hit this, it sets a stone block where the coordinates were. This can be good for traps. As you can see, I am now completely stuck in the ground. And yeah, that's what it does. It sets a block. Now, this is going to be super, super, super useful for things like parkour maps, which are constantly changing, and animations. Now, of course, it does use command blocks, so there's no way to do this in survival or creative without using external editors or cheats. But in general, I think it's still a good idea. So now we move over here to this new command, which is the tell raw command, which I have it set to say hi. Oh, not that. There we go. So the way that this works is that instead of having the @ symbol when you would have the command block say something, it just says hi to that player without the little command, command block is saying thing, the @ symbol in front of it. Now, another thing that you can do is if I type here, give piece rocks 100, and let's just say 1 to give me a piece of stone, and I hover over it in the inventory. Oh, there we go. It gives you the tooltip of that, which can be very interesting. You can do this with anything. You can do this with swords. You can display custom names and custom data values and things like that, and it will display whatever the tag will display. And if you look over on the map, which I will be covering why it looks like that in a minute, there appears to be a glitch with when I put my mouse over this. So that is clearly some kind of glitch that I will put on the bug tracker where the map gets darker. But anyway, now, did I cover this? Yes, I did. Okay, not hide. Oh my gosh. Now we come over here, and now we are in this week's snapshot, the 38. And in this one, the way that it works is that let's say I have a map that I've just made. Here I am. Here's my little white arrow and the glitched green arrow for whatever reason. And there you go. And now, if I take this map and I right-click it into an item frame, it no longer just displays the little portion of the map. It actually displays like the tiny little map inside the tiny little item frame. It now displays the whole thing. This is really nice because if you use your imagination here and imagine that I had created the map to go with every single one of these sections next to each other, I can place them next to each other and create a big map. Now, of course, it doesn't work exactly like I had planned because I did not do this, but if you had set out the maps now, if you had actually spent the time to map out the whole world and put them next to each other, it would look like one big continuous map. You can also make really, really good, easy pixel art with these, and I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to be using these interesting textures and colors because this block is this new item frame. It's completely flush with the side of the block, kind of like how redstone is flush with the top of blocks when you place it on there. There's no dimension out. You can't see it. There's no hitbox actually from the side. So people, I have a feeling, are going to use this a ton for making new block textures. If you want to build a house and you want a certain look on your walls, you can make pixel arts this way, or you can just redesign the block. I could make it look like a command block and have it, have a wall that looks like it's made of command blocks, or look like it's made of diamond blocks just by manipulating with the colors. And a few other things that are in this snapshot, but they are all having to do with the menu. So if I go into the menu and I go into options, now if you go into the music and, nope, not that, if you go into the video settings area, You can now, all of this is the default of how it was when I got the snapshot. You can now set the render distance as far as chunks. You can set the max frame rate, however you want with this. You can do the anisotropic, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, filtering. I'm not completely sure what that is, but I'm sure it has something to do with graphics. And you can also do mipmap levels. And I believe mipmap levels has to do with if you look off like into the distance. Why is my game frozen? There we go. If I look off into the distance here at like the tree, you can kind of see that when I move back and forth, it has that like jittery effect. I believe that mipmapping has to do with that, although I'm not completely sure. I don't know that much about, graphic systems and such, so if you want to know more about that, you should check forums or Wikiit, or maybe Optifine forums would be a good, like the Optifine page would be a good place to look. I'm not sure, but you could definitely find that in other places. And the last thing in this snapshot, possibly the coolest thing ever, in the super secret settings thing, button here, it not only plays that weird sound like it always does, it also changes the way your game looks. It applies filters. So if I click done here and back to the game, I'm getting ridiculous lag spikes. I don't know why. You can see, wow, this is really bad lag. I have no idea, probably just because my computer is awful. And I have this crazy thing on. It just adds this weird blur, crazy kind of pop art effect to it. And there are a ridiculous amount of these. I will put in the description a list of all of the different types of shaders that they have, but there's just so many. If we look for a second, this one looks a little bit different than that one, but pretty much the same. If we click it again, this does just black and white and puts borders on everything. This one looks like it increases the what is the word I'm looking for? It looks like it makes the colors more vibrant. This one adds sort of like an RGB effect to the outside. If you look over here where my cursor is, you can kind of see the like magenta and green and stuff as far as like a blurry computer screen almost. This is upside down mode. I know, absolutely amazing, right? This one does negative color, so it inverts every color. If I click this again, this puts it as if this makes it look like it's inside an old gaming monitor, where it puts this little curved glass, and it has the I don't know if you can see it on this level of video. Maybe you can see it with the contrast in the buttons, but in the game it has these little lines across like the original monitors had, but in the buttons it doesn't have that, so you can maybe see that contrast. If I click it again, let's see what happens. Looks like it gives a little bit of a, looks like it gives that same border like in the black and white one, except this one has color. You can kind of see on the edges of the trees and over here a little bit. Do it again, it looks pretty much normal. This is just a different version of that monitor. I think it might be a little bit duller colors, but I'm not sure. This is just giving the borders of stuff. It gives you, I'm pretty sure it gives you the border in the color that it is, but I don't know that much about how it works. But it pretty much just subtracts all large areas of color. It only gives you the lines. If I do this again, it gives you 8-bit. 8-bit Minecraft if your game wasn't like blocky enough. This one just, there's color, I can see green, I can see blue, but I'm pretty sure it just dulls the colors, kind of similar to like old color, not really sepia, that had some more browns and yellows in it. This is just like ridiculous, I don't even know what this is. Like, Seth Blinn called it Creeper Vision, where it's 8-bit, it's the monitor, and it's just, everything's green. We keep going and we get super blurry, far-sighted, except not even, because things are really blurry there too. Just, ugh, you really need glasses. Here we get a whole bunch of really distorted things. If you look, everything is just sort of very wavy. It kind of looks like a child with pattern scissors cut out the whole thing. If you look again, you get things that are a little bit blurry. It looks like the edges of the pixel, the little Minecraft pixels are bleeding a little bit into each other. So that's pretty interesting. Click it again. You get similar. It's a little bit blurry. Click it again. What do you get? Nothing, maybe. I don't know. Let's, yeah, it looks pretty much about the same here. Let's keep going, see what else we can find. Did that do anything? I don't know if that did anything. Let me click it again. Oh, and that brought us back to the beginning. Now, there's a few that I missed just because I am in this, actually, I should really not be in this one because it's lagging out my game really bad. There's a few that I missed just because I had my game paused, and I would probably call them motion blur mode and LSD mode. And I will show those in a minute as soon as I find them, but I don't want to show it on camera because it would take way too long. Okay, and here we are, and you can kind of see, if you go back about 2 seconds in the video, you can kind of see over on the very right side the mountains were kind of moving in there, and that is because this is motion blur mode. And if you have a weak stomach, I would suggest you definitely look away now. I am actually going to try something. I'll be right back. Okay guys, I am back, and there are a few things that I've noticed. One, if you look at particles, like in the Nether portal, absolutely insane, looks like Northern Lights kind of stuff. Another thing that I noticed is that sprinting creates interesting effects, especially if you like sprint towards something with lots of detail. It almost gives it like a, it makes it look like it's moving, kind of like how in sci-fi movies and shows they have stars look like they're moving when you move at the speed of light or faster, even though that's impossible. Because light gets stretched and crazy stuff like that. It's a very interesting effect I really like. You know, it's very light bending-y. Another thing to note is that when you move with your, the item in your hand, its image also trails, and if you give the player a nausea effect, it is absolutely awful and impossible to do anything with this because it still makes the screen just move like crazy, and I can't even, this is so bad. Milk, need milk. And again, I discovered a glitch in the last snapshot video I made where if you have nausea and you take milk, it gives you the portal effect. The effect that it looks like when you're going through the portal. So, now I'm going to find the next one of these cool shaders. Okay, and here we are in what I like to call LSD mode. As you can see, gray blocks, it does not change. This is the one that I said looks like a kid made it with safety scissors, and not only that, it's actually moving. If you look carefully, these pixels are physically moving. It's changing. They're moving slowly towards the direction that I'm now backwards. They're moving in this direction slowly, all the little pixels and images and everything. Absolutely crazy. Everything's changing colors. I love the way it makes this portal, though. That's absolutely fantastic. That is the coolest. And the sky, that's a thing. Grass, totally different. Just command blocks, maps, everything. This is just, imagine doing a map like this. This would be absolutely crazy. Flowers, totally changing. Looks like animals do not. Let me test this actually. Let's get like a, what's a good one? Blaze might be good. Let's spawn a blaze here. Oh, it's on peaceful. There we go. And let's do a blaze. Yep, they do change. Oh my god, that is so trippy. This is fantastic. Look at it. Oh my god, oh my god, I love this so much. So anyway, guys, So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and didn't throw up too much toward the end. A little vomit never hurt anybody. But I am Zury. Thank you for watching my video, and bling bling, hiss hiss, boom. I'll see you next time.